Good morning, everybody. Is it time? It's 10 o'clock, right? Well, here we are with this week's broker update. We're back. Me, Tina, Mike, Amir. What do we got this week, guys?
We don't really have anything to talk about new this week going on, so
Okay.
we'll just have a question down.
Maybe that's a plus.
Well, it is a plus.
Maybe that's a plus. We've had enough news.
No, we're going to talk to you guys. Listen, if you have questions regarding the current stuff, we'll give you some time at the end to throw them in the chat. We'll get your questions answered about new policies and changes. But we wanted to talk about some organic lead generation today because business is still happening. But before we get started, we'll do a quick little recap, some housekeeping to what's going on.
So as the NAR policy has taken into effect, and you guys have heard us talk about that we've partnered with our antitrust attorneys and things along those lines. So majority of everybody on this call or on the Zoom is in Charles Rutenberg Realty Inc. And that's all the agents in that company are realtors. You're members of the National Association of Realtors and whatnot. But there are, if you didn't know, Charles Rutenberg Realty has a second company. It's called Charles Rutenberg Realty Associates. And in that company, it is just a referral company.
Yeah.
But over the years, we've had agents go into that company and still practice real estate. Obviously they can't access the MLS, they cannot list homes, but they could write an offer for sale by owner, or they could take a buyer to a new construction property. Well, unfortunately, we've been given the guidance that we need to stop that.
Yeah.
So starting, I think I put out there November 1st, any agents in Charles Rutenberg Realty Associates can only pass and can only pass referrals and accept referral fees. If you want to continue practicing real estate where you're working with buyers, then you need to email Jessica and tell her you want to move back over to Charles Rutenberg Realty Inc. And then, of course, you'd join the board, join the MLS. But it's all about risk mitigation at this point. And I know we've talked about that several times, risk mitigation. But it's very important because as we're seeing, it's not just a fine. It's not just a slap on the hand from the board or Florida Real Estate Commission. It's antitrust and it can be tried criminally. So that's something that we don't want to go through. We don't want to deal with. And I know you guys don't want to deal with it either. So we're going to, be very stern with the fact that starting November 1st, anybody that wants to do traditional real estate transactions needs to move over to the other company. If you're on the silver plan, it's going to be the same fee.
Yeah, nothing's changed. You just got to pay
You just have to go into the other company.
Yeah.
So, if you're confused about that or whatnot, feel free to call me. But like I said, most of the people on this call, of our 2,300 agents, only about 400 or so are in the referral company. So
yeah, and most of them are truly referral agents. They want to hang. And by the way, that's an option for anybody. If you decide, hey, I don't have a lot of business, but I still know, I've been doing this a long time, or I have a referral base. If you don't want to pay your board dues and NAR and Florida Realtors and all of that, we can just migrate you right over, transfer you over to the referral company. We have a lot of agents go into the referral company.
Or they're sliding into retirement maybe a little bit, or that kind of thought process.
You've spent a lifetime building a business. And, I know it's hard for a lot of people to give that up. It would be for me as well.
Yeah.
So people still like you. They still trust you. They still they still call you up and say, hey, you sold my house 10 years ago. Can you help me today? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
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 I'm going to have one of my team members get in touch with you and they're going to take very good care of you.
And I get this call a lot too. Well, what is the standard referral fee? There is no standard. People, whatever the quality of your lead is and that you can sell it, or convince another agent that this is a solid, you're not going to get price checked. This is whether it's a buyer or a seller, then whatever agent you're working with, you negotiate that fee. And if you don't feel that the agent's qualified to handle your customer or going to be a good reflection on you handling your customer, because you want those again, then either find a new agent or make sure you find an agent that you agree with what the value is. We throw this number out there, 25%, but I'm gonna tell you something, if one of my sellers calls me that's not price checking anything, they're not calling other realtors, they're calling me to place them the right way, I'm probably gonna get a little more than 25% on one of my past customers. That's just me. If I know that, hey, I've still got the relationship with them, I'm handing it off to you, I want 30%, I want 35%, whatever it may be. it could be a flat fee number. It could be whatever it is. So
I mean, it's easy money.
It is.
And that's what it is. You know, you took a phone call that maybe took you 5 or 10 minutes, just, you know, chit chatting, and then you did a little bit of research, found an agent, passed it off. Then you just sit back and wait for that check to come in.
So I used to, back in the mid-teens, 2015, 16, 17, I think I've told you guys all my war stories. I had a national lender, good buddy of mine, and we forged a really good business relationship. He would call me all the time and go, I got a hot one. You know, he was a lender getting leads, a lot of internet leads. He goes, I got a hot one in Dubuque, Iowa. Find me an agent. I would start scrambling and find him an agent, and I would have to vet that agent out. I didn't just, you know, because it was all buyer leads, and back then the market was pretty good. A lot of them would go, I don't really want a buyer lead.
Yeah.
And I'd go, sure, because this one's solid and qualified. And so I'm going to tell you, I did very well off of referral fees for 3 or 4 years. You guys, and I was still selling real estate too. But so I don't want you to think that there's a ton of opportunity in that referral business. Understand, anybody that's in the ink, if you don't kind of really understand how brokerages work, if you're in the ink, you have to be a member of NAR, Florida Realtors, and a local board. That's just the rules. We didn't make them, and it just is what it is. So we agree that ink company, every member of that company will be a member of it. So if you're not a member of a board and you've been late on your dues, your fees to MLS or to the board, we have to move you over to the other company anyway. So some of you may have experienced it. All right, so enough there. Just starting November 1, if you're in the referral company, you need to be a referral agent, and a referral place is a good place to be too. Real quick before we get into our topic today is the new riders that came out, GG and FF. Amir and I, GG, it's like my grandma. GG and FF. We, you know, listen guys, Stellar is putting on webinars and they have them all along the way. Florida Realtors is sticking them out. Me and Amir, pretty much every day, one of us or both of us is on something somewhere, learning something. So they had one the other day, and we were sitting here watching this room, and I actually fell asleep. Not gonna lie, I looked over and I drew out of my mouth. I fell asleep, Amir? He says, yeah, you did, man. It wasn't that it was that boring, it's that I was that tired, number one, in the middle of the afternoon. But it was kind of boring too. Me and Amir kept looking at each other going, we've already given you a better option than GG and FF.
Yeah, so if you haven't taken a look at the forms, you know, GG and FF, they're riders that go along with the as-is contract, the FAR bar stuff. One of them has to do with putting in a contingency on the seller completing a compensation agreement with agreeable terms of the buyer, and we've already come up with a solution for that. What it does, it allows you to make a contract effective and then give the buyer the right to walk away within a certain period of time if the compensation agreement has not been agreed to.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you just put the term in the in additional terms of this contract is contingent upon the seller executing a compensation agreement with Charles Rutenberg Realty, and so that way it's all done at the same time. Because, you know, now if you have another small contingency in there, well, what happens with, well, I know what happens with earnest money and home inspection, but it's just another contingency that's going to delay things and, you know, just convolute the whole transaction.
I don't see any need for it.